It's time to get local with Krysta and discover some of Simcoe County's best local businesses. We are in Tottenham at the Oak&Feather Decor workshop, where Leslie hand makes incredible custom wood art and one-of-a-kind 3D signs. Hi Leslie, I'm super excited to be here at the Oak&Feather Decor workshop to see where all the magic happens. You are an artist, a maker, a teacher, and you're also a pretty big deal on social media with over 100,000 followers on TikTok and over 100,000 followers on Instagram, which is incredible. And I'd love to hear kind of how you got there and the origin story of Oak&Feather Decor.
So it started about 6 years ago. I was on maternity leave with my first daughter. She was almost 1 at the time, and my younger sister was getting married. I was really struggling with postpartum depression and anxiety at the time, and she really wanted to kind of keep me busy, give me something to do. So she asked me if I could make a card box for her wedding. And at the time, I had no woodworking knowledge. I didn't know how to make a box, but my husband had a bunch of tools. So I asked him if he could make a box for my sister, and I painted her name on it, and it turned out okay. But at the wedding, she had a lot of guests that saw the box, and they wanted one as well. So I started getting orders. We were making these boxes, and my husband finally said, like, look, we're getting too many orders. I don't have time to do this. You're going to have to learn how to use these tools. Right. So he taught me the basics. I figured out how to make a box, and it kind of just started blowing up from there.
Wow, that's very cool. You mentioned anxiety and PPD. I know through your channels you do talk a lot about your mental health journey. I'm curious to hear, like, why did you decide that's something you wanted to share through your business?
So with my social media, it started growing when I was sharing my experience learning woodworking. So I would share the different tools I was learning, the mistakes I was making, and then I got a scroll saw. So people were really interested in learning about that, and I kind of built this platform where I had a lot of friends. I felt real connections with these people that I was showing woodworking, and when I got pregnant with my second child, I knew I was likely to experience the postpartum depression and anxiety again. And I wanted to be really transparent with the people who were following me because I knew I wasn't going to be able to show up in the same way that I had been. So I started sharing my worries while I was pregnant. Was I going to get postpartum again? How was I going to handle it? Things like that. And through sharing that, I feel like I built a really strong community, specifically of women who were going through the same things as I was. They were going through pregnancy, they were experiencing loss, they were struggling with mental health or the careers that they were working in. And the space that I had created through my social media was a safe place for us to talk about those things. So that was really why I wanted to share, because even though it was hard and I felt really uncomfortable and vulnerable sharing, it made me see that I had a platform where I could kind of be that voice for women that hasn't really been there before.
Absolutely. And I feel like there are so many people going through similar struggles. So to see you successful doing these amazing things is very inspiring. So it's amazing, and thank you so much for sharing that. So you talked about the card box, and now you make signage. So, or you call it wood art. How did you kind of jump to that, and what exactly are you selling now, and what are you creating?
So the card boxes were really fun, but I started realizing, you know, I could make a lot more stuff than just a box when I started really learning how to use the tools. And I had started seeing these 3D signs, which I thought were really neat, and I couldn't figure out how people were making them. And that's when I discovered the scroll saw. So I got the scroll saw, which is now my main tool, and it allows me to cut things out of wood that are 3D. So I started with very basic, just a name on a board. And over the years, I've gotten a lot more skilled with it. So I do anything from still the basic names that you can put on your wall or on a board, all the way up to really intricate logos for large companies. I do a lot of photo recreations, so people in portraits, I do those a lot. I do wood art specifically now with trucks, which is really kind of a niche market, but somebody asked me after seeing one of my family portraits, could I recreate a truck? And I'd never done it, but I said, yeah, for sure I can. So I started doing that, and that has basically snowballed into me making trucks for a seller that sells Western Star out in Alberta. And that actually got the attention of the Western Star. So I was able to make a sign for Daimler North America, which was a pretty huge deal for me. So yeah, I mean, I make signs from, like I said, little small names all the way up to logos like that.
And I think maybe one of my favorite things you make is the handwriting, the names that you put on signs. And I've seen you create a recipe board. It's super cool. How do you do that?
So the handwriting signs became really popular, and basically what I do is if you have a card or like a family recipe card with handwriting on it, I take a high resolution image and I can blow it up and then cut it out by hand on my scroll saw. Wow. So those are really meaningful pieces, because to take somebody's handwriting and then be able to cut it out by hand, it makes me feel like a really big connection to the piece that I'm making.
Absolutely, and it's such a meaningful gift for someone, or even a piece to have in their own house.
Absolutely.
So along with creating all this awesome stuff, you also teach, and you use your channels to show people how to use similar tools and equipment to make items similar to what you make. Why did you choose to share your knowledge in that way?
So I was very lucky to have both my husband and my dad around to teach me how to use the basic tools. So the miter saw, the jigsaw, things like that. But as I got into making things with my scroll saw, I realized there was really a lack of information out there on how to use that tool specifically. I really had to teach myself. I learned by trial and error. I found a couple videos online, but they were really, really old and outdated, so I found them really kind of uninteresting to follow along with. So I decided to start making videos, sharing my failures and my successes, in the hopes that if there was somebody else out there that wanted to learn how to do what I was doing, they would have an easier path than I did.
Right. So my favorite question to ask, and the hardest question for people to answer, is what is your favorite or one of your favorite pieces you've ever created?
So it's a super hard question. I have made literally hundreds of signs at this point, and I always joke that my favorite sign is the one I'm currently working on, because I really put my heart and soul into everything I make. But if I had to choose one, about a year and a half after I opened my business, I sadly lost my grandmother, my mom's mom. But my mom and dad actually bought me my very first scroll saw. So having their love and support meant the world to me, and I really wanted to be able to make something special for my mom. So I found a card that my grandmother had wrote "Love Mom" in, and I cut out her handwriting and gave it to my mom for Mother's Day. So that still is a really, really special piece to me.
Absolutely. Oh, that's beautiful. Well, thank you so much for having me here and sharing your story and sharing all of your beautiful work.
Thank you.
We are here in Barrie at Licious Italian Food and Catering. Here you can find authentic Italian food, coffee, pastries, and some unique entertainment.
Now we can enjoy our coffee.
Hi, Francesco.
Hi.
Thank you so much for having me here.
You're very welcome.
Licious Italian Food and Catering. The name basically says it all. You serve delicious, authentic Italian food. I would love if you can tell me a little bit about how you got started and how this all came to be.
Came to be like I start like food is always in my family. Coming up like growing up in a big family, and I always prepare food around it. Since then I moved to Canada 2011. I always worked like in the food industry, like coffee shops. So started like in Toronto. This idea I coming up like in COVID time.
Right.
I was working like my full-time job like as a chef in a private school, plus I was working here in Barrie like in a restaurant that's serving too. And when the COVID happened, like everything was shut down. I was going around it like doing Uber Eats, like just to provide my family. But every time like I was dropping this food like through the door, it was like, nobody, not ringing the bells. Please leave it to the door, no knock. Like okay, like I want to say like enjoy the food, like enjoy. So I was coming up like with this idea like of lasagna. Let's say, let me make some lasagna. Let's like see like frozen meal. Like I'll try to see work it up like for the recipe. Like at the same time like to cook from frozen and all this stuff. And I rented up like a ghost kitchen. And I start to work well. Like the first delivery we start to doing here in Barrie, and then it was like the good of the lasagna. I'm thinking like I make a good lasagna, like my mother approved, so she came in like she's approved. So I think I make a good lasagna.
Yeah.
I started getting busy. Like I needed more time to prepare. Like my kitchen was in the North York, so I was looking for something to open it up, like something maybe like it's already building, and coming up like this business for sale, and me and my wife were just like talking about it. Like, exactly 1 year ago, like we started this adventure, and it's good so far. Like we're very happy. A little bit tired, but
Yeah.
happy for sure. Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So now you still have frozen meals. You also have a hot table. You have pastries. You offer catering. You do a lot. Can you tell me a little bit about what's on your different menus?
Yeah, it's like here when you walk in, like we offer like hot table. Mostly like where I get good like from my lunchtime is my sandwich. We have fresh meals. We fry everything from fresh, like at demand, like a veal or chicken. We do have like my homemade porchetta. We do have vegetables, the cold cut sandwich. Plus, we start to make some specialty like every day, and pastas. So like today, like I was make some fresh gnocchi, and let's start the boom. With Italian cuisine, with a very simple ingredient, you can make a lot of dish.
Right.
And and so on the catering, like I like to discuss with the customer, because like I try to accommodate what they're looking for, and looks like so far like we are doing well about that.
Nice. And you also offer in-home experiences.
Yes.
Can you tell me a bit about that?
Our home experience, I like it. Like especially like when I walk inside on this house, like and I start to work inside the kitchen. Mostly like customer, they feel like, oh, okay, maybe they're gonna need this, they're gonna need that, and then as soon I show like I can be comfortable in any kitchen.
Right.
As long like you have a menu and everything around it, it's the one. So I really show like how I can set up a line in the kitchen, right? And other than that, I like to talk to the guest. Plus, I like to sing a serenade.
Right.
So like on the food, you're gonna have a serenade on a classic Italian song, especially a Napolitan song. You're gonna have like the story behind the song. So on top of that, like it's gathering like more with the harmony.
Right.
And I really love it that people
like-
enjoy the
It's
experience.
a full experience, right? It is
Yes.
not just the food. And so people can also come hear you sing here
Absolutely.
in the restaurant.
Yeah, as soon as like I got to the occasion, like to see like the connection. It's
Right.
Like I'm kind of like I'm scared of someone just because they want a coffee, like, and I start to sing, but I want a coffee, like, you know. But as soon as I got the connection, when people like has like 5 minutes to enjoy the time, I like to enjoy them like with a song.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for having me and telling me more about Licious.
You're very welcome. Thank you for stopping by here to Licious, and I don't know, if you want to try something, I'm ready to make something
Yes.
for you.
Absolutely. We are at the Simcoe Makers Market Boutique in Alliston, a shopping destination that celebrates local artisans. This boutique is proud to support and sell products from over 60 local vendors, as well as have its own refillery in store. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Krysta.
Thank you so much for having me here at Simcoe Makers Market Boutique in Alliston.
Well, thank you for coming.
I'm very excited to be here finally and check this place out. I know the boutique is relatively new, but Simcoe Makers Market has been around for a while. Is that correct?
Yes, we just had our 2-year anniversary this summer.
Awesome. And what is Simcoe Makers Market?
Simcoe Makers Market are events that I host throughout Simcoe County to spread awareness about our local businesses and to host family-friendly events in the community to draw the community together.
Very cool. So what inspired you to take those events and basically turn it into a retail store?
I wanted a more permanent location to house our local small businesses because not everybody can make it out to the events on the weekends, so you don't have to wait for a specific weekend to go to a market when you can come here all year round and support our vendors every day.
Clearly you love supporting local and small businesses. Has that something that's always been a passion for you?
It is, especially over the last few years when I did start my own small business. I make wreaths from Twigs and Blooms by Lisa, so I was doing markets in the community with that business, and I decided to start my own market, Simcoe Makers Market, and here we are today, just over 3 years later.
Wow, that's awesome. And in the store, in the boutique, what types of vendors and what types of products can you find here?
So all of our products are made by small businesses throughout Simcoe County. We have over 60 vendors in store, ranging from home decor, bath and body products, candles, jewelry, clothing, you name it, there's a bit of something for everybody. And we also have our eco refillery. We have home eco products like all-purpose cleaners, laundry detergents, dish soaps, fabric softeners, and all of these products are by our local refillery in Barrie, OB Hive.
Very cool. Oh, that's awesome. Why did you choose Alliston as the location to basically represent local Simcoe makers?
I felt like it was the perfect spot to open up a boutique of this kind because there's nothing else like it in the area, and because of all the community, the makers in our community of Alliston, and it's local for them as well.
Amazing. It seems like the perfect location, and it's such a great store that really has something for everyone, but also supporting local businesses, but even more specifically, local businesses to Simcoe County, which is very cool and very unique. So with over 60 local vendors in the store, is it always the same vendors and the same products, or do they rotate, or how does that work?
Our current vendors will be bringing in new inventory as the seasons change and as they make new products for themselves, as well as we will be getting new vendors in every few months to keep things fresh and new every time.
Awesome. And where can people see what's current?
So people can check out our Instagram and Facebook accounts. That's Simcoe_Makers Market Boutique on Instagram, and everything is current and up to date there, and all the links are there.
Amazing. Last question, toughest question. If you were to describe Simcoe Makers Market Boutique in one word, what would it be?
Eclectic.
That's a good one.
Because there's literally everything.
Yes,
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. I see a few things that have caught my eye already, so I'm gonna go shopping.
Well, I hope you have a great time. There's baskets at the front.
Welcome to Pure Pilates Studio in Barrie, where you can find Pilates classes for everyone from beginners to experts. Hi, Jasmine.
Hello.
Thank you for having me here. Your studio is gorgeous. These rooms are so bright and beautiful. I'm very excited to be here. I've tried Pilates before. I love Pilates. I know a lot of people are kind of not sure about what it is. It would be awesome if you can give me a little bit of info on like the principles behind Pilates.
Yeah, so Pilates is an exercise method that works the body as a whole, working from the inside out, working those little stabilizing muscles first before the big ones. It's a lot of core-based work, so it's great for anyone wanting to rebuild their core or strengthen their core. So it's based on improving flexibility, stability, balance, mobility, all of those different principles. Again, just working the body as a whole.
Perfect. And what classes do you offer here?
So we offer Reformer Pilates, Mat Pilates, and Bar. Reformer Pilates is based off of the machines, which are resistance-based. So there's 5 different springs. You have 3 reds, a yellow, and a blue. Depending on the exercise, sometimes more springs is heavier and harder, and sometimes less springs is heavier and harder. It depends on what the exercise is. Mat Pilates is done on a mat in the mat and bar room, and it's all body weight. Also working the body as a whole, all of the same. And then bar is against a bar on the wall. You start upright, you add some weights, props. It kind of has a dance background to it, but you don't have to be a dancer in order to do bar.
Cool. And how did you get into this industry and decide to open Pure Pilates?
So originally I was doing another job and I started doing Reformer Pilates myself to help with my posture and some issues I was having within my body. And then Lindsay and I partnered up together, and I ended up changing my career path to teaching Pilates. Lindsay was already teaching Pilates and had been for many years. And then we ended up discovering that we lived across the road from each other as well. Yeah, and then so we always wanted to open a studio, but then COVID happened, so we started teaching privates out of our homes, and it really gained momentum. We had a wait list, like an extensive wait list on top of like our private clients wanting to come in. So when we got kind of like the okay that everything was back to normal, we ended up finding a commercial unit, and we were able to open a studio and reach a larger community and base. Yeah.
Awesome. What fitness level would you say would benefit from Pilates?
Really, any fitness level. It's funny because people always ask us like what our niche is, and it's so hard to narrow because Pilates is really for anyone. Our oldest client is 87, and our youngest are range from 8 to 10. We have an age limit here at the studio just for liability reasons, but privates are always available for younger individuals as well. But yeah, it really, any fitness level, again, elderly, fit, unfit, injuries, limitations, all kinds of things, you're able to do Pilates. So yeah.
What sort of benefits would you say you would get from doing it on a regular basis?
Yeah, so again, muscle imbalances, structural. It helps from the inside out. So you work on balance, control, stability, mobility, strength. It's also great for bone building as well. It's low impact, postural, all kinds of things.
How often would you suggest people come and do classes?
So we usually say 2 to 3 times a week. That obviously depends on people's schedules and what their lifestyles are like. So we always say as well that anything is better than nothing. So if that allows you to come once a week, that's great, but the rule is usually 2 to 3 times a week.
Perfect. Yeah. All right, well, thank you so much for having me
and
teaching me a little bit more about what you do here.
Yes, of course. Thank you for coming.
Welcome to A Taste of Freedom Country Inn in Tottenham. This casual fine dining restaurant offers takeout, dine-in, and outdoor dining in a cozy atmosphere. Hi, Carl.
Hey, how's it going?
Thank you for having me here at A Taste of Freedom in Tottenham. I'm very excited to be here. The building is super cool and unique, and I would love to hear a little bit of the history of the building.
Oh, the building's awesome. So this used to be a bank way back in the 1800s. So it was originally built as a home, and then a local commerce bank came in, put a vault in the front, and after 10 years, I believe in the history book, it says that the banker stole the money, ran off to South America.
Oh, wow.
So then the Bank of Hamilton took it back over, and it was a bank up till 1900, then became a home.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we're right next to the South Simcoe Railway that ran from Hamilton to Barrie, and this is one of the major stops.
Wow. So yeah, how did it become a Taste of Freedom?
So my family bought this. So my mother back in 1996 bought the building, and actually if you can see it, that's her there. Lovely woman, very pretty, very French. Yeah, she did a lot of work back in the day. It was a work in progress, so it took over a year or two, and then we finally started Taste of Freedom back in 1997, I believe.
Oh, wow.
And I took over from her probably 18 years ago.
So you've been in the restaurant industry for a very long time.
Yeah, she's taught me well.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And the name, A Taste of Freedom, that's got to have a good story behind it.
Well, basically, it's a little tricky. She was married to my father, and then they got divorced, and then she just felt like she got her freedom back. So she decided to open up a restaurant called Taste of Freedom.
Wow, that's awesome.
Hey, it's the truth.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about what's on the menu? What kind of food you
Well,
serve?
we just changed up our menu quite a bit the last 4 months. So we have our head chef, Christopher, who's been with me for over a year. He's awesome. He's very just traditional French, Italian. And then I wanted to change things up. I brought in Mr. Eldo and Mr. Derek. They're both from different backgrounds. Mr. Derek is Jamaican cuisine, so a lot of Caribbean, fresh fish, real jerk, amazing jerk food. And Mr. Eldo does his Indian curries and butter chicken, which is very authentic. So
there's a wide range of
yeah,
food
yeah.
on there. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so
And we
cool.
do our staples, ribs, prime rib, pastas.
Right.
Yep.
And you have takeout, dine-in, and outdoor outdoor eating as well.
Yeah, outdoor eating. This is our patio back here, so.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
we have over 100 seats inside, over 100 seats outside, so yeah.
Perfect.
It's unique.
Yeah, it's definitely unique. So I'm going to talk to Jess about the other stuff you do here with the weddings and events.
And Jessica is my wife also. She's part of the family. She does all the weddings and functions, and because I'm not very good at it. So.
Hi, Jessie.
Hi.
So we are now in front of the chapel
Absolutely.
in the patio area. Can you tell me a little bit about the events and weddings that you host here?
Of course. So we do many different events, special occasions, a lot of Holy Communion receptions, as well as birthday parties, anniversary celebrations, celebration of lives, and then my favorite, weddings. We can host up to 100 people for weddings with some ceremonies on site right here at the chapel. Very beautiful space in our garden. We do 2 locations, either the chapel or the gazebo, depending on your size of wedding.
Awesome. Can people have dinner outside here also for the wedding, or do you normally do the ceremonies outside and then move inside for dinner or dancing?
So we like to utilize as much space as possible, so we do encourage the guests to do their ceremony and cocktail hour outside, move inside for dinner, and then come back out to continue the party, dancing, speeches, and just celebrate the rest of the night.
Very awesome. And what kind of music do you usually have at weddings here?
Oh, a variety. Sometimes they'll have a couple little 2-piece bands, or they can go DJ. We do have to cut off the music at 11 o'clock because we still have neighbors, but it's usually a very quaint, very nice celebration.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you so much about telling me about the weddings and events. It's so cute here, and it's like such a unique venue that like you wouldn't assume is right here in Tottenham. So it's very awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks, Krista.